Back now in West Buffalo, Passover is just a few days away, and many families are preparing for a holiday filled with tradition, storytelling, and food, of course. The Buffalo Jewish Federation is helping bring those traditions to life with fun, family-friendly ways to connect, from kids-approved books to classic Seder dishes like matzo ball soup. Joining us now is Robin Kurz, Director of Jewish Experience for the Buffalo Jewish Federation. Thanks for being here, Robin.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And Passover starts at sundown on Wednesday, April 1st. And tell us a little bit, or give us a refresher for people who might need a refresher about what the meaning of Passover is. It's a very important holiday.
It is. It is really the most celebrated of all the Jewish holidays in the course of a year. It is central to really our history and our life, more so than any other holiday. And it's a springtime holiday. It lasts for 8 nights, starting on Wednesday, as you mentioned, for a whole 8 nights. The first 2 nights, we have what's called a Seder. And that's where we have a home-based family celebration where we tell the story of the Exodus. And our holiday is really about freedom and our struggle for freedom. And so we retell the story of our exodus from Egypt every year in the hopes that we pass the tradition and the history on to our children from generation to generation. So the word Seder means order, and the Seder meal has a very specific order where our rituals are observed. Each has its own time, its own place, and its way of being observed in a very special order. So I brought our Seder plate. It's very symbolic, and each piece of food on the Seder plate symbolizes part of the Exodus story.
We have it pulled up right here, so explain each piece of food and the importance.
Yes, well, we start with parsley, which really signifies spring because it's a springtime holiday. And before we eat this, we say a prayer and we dip it in salt water. The salt water reminds us of the tears that we shed when we were slaves in Egypt, thousands and thousands of years ago. This is horseradish, which many of you will recognize more in its grated form, but we eat this to remind us of the bitterness of our slavery. The egg is to remind us of the circle of life and renewal of life. The shank bone, it reminds us of the Paschal lamb offering. And this is something that's sort of a fruit ambrosia. It's made out of apples and walnuts and cinnamon and wine. It's called charoset, and it reminds us of the mortar that we used to build the buildings when we were slaves. And so we use this as a centerpiece of our table and to help us tell the story to our children.
Wonderful. And how does it go to pass down the stories to the children? I know that there's children's books out there.
Sure. One of the programs that the Federation has in Buffalo is called PJ Library. We send books with Jewish values and Jewish content to children every month from age 0 birth all the way through 12. And so children can just sign up for that by going to pjlibrary.org. And we have programming around all of these books throughout the year. We have Tot Shabbats, and we have story time for toddlers. So that's how we address celebrating with families with young children. And for adults, we have different gatherings throughout the year as well. And at our own home, we have a Seder both nights, and we tell the story to our children over and over and over again as if we were ourselves slaves leaving Egypt. And we hope to pass our history and our traditions to our children orally and by reading the Haggadah, the story of our Exodus.
And is there a service component to this, or is it a holiday really more celebrated at home with the family?
It's a home-based holiday. So the 2 Seders on the first 2 nights of the holiday are when we tell the story.
And then it continues for 6 nights.
It continues for 6 more nights. And the way that we observe that is that there are certain foods we are allowed to eat and not eat. I'm sure most people have heard of matzah. It's a cracker-like substance because when we were leaving Egypt, we didn't have time to let our bread rise. So we left in such haste. So we're only allowed to eat unleavened bread for the whole 8 days of Passover. And we also eat other foods that we don't usually eat during the year. A lot of potatoes. We're not allowed to eat rice and peas and anything that could be leavened. So it's mostly vegetables, a lot of carbs. But I love the holiday because it's the one time of year that I cook like my grandma did. And so those traditions are really dear to us.
I was just going to ask what maybe the thing you look forward to the most about Passover is.
family.
Yes.
Celebrating with family.
Wonderful. Well, happy Passover.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. Where can people go if they want to learn more? And I know you said you're the Director of Jewish Experience.
Yes, Director of Jewish Experience for the
else,
Jewish Federation.
What other services could people maybe reach out to you about?
We have a wonderful website, buffalojewishfederation.org, and it has a calendar of events that go on every single day throughout the year that the Federation administers and facilitates. And so you can go on there. You can also see my name and phone number, and anyone's welcome to call and email me anytime, and I'm happy to answer any questions and talk about all the programs we have going on.
Well, thanks for coming on Most Buffalo, Robin. We appreciate learning a little bit more about Passover and
Thanks
about
for having us.
the food that you brought with us as well, or with you
Thank
as well.
you.